We continue now at the top of Daf Samech Zayin Amid Aleph and Meseches Avodah Zara. This is Avodah Zarah Daf 67a. On the previous Amid, Abaya said that smell, reicha, is considered to be significant, it's considered to be substantial. And the Gemara asked, it seems to be a machlokas tanoim from a Mishnah in Trumos, because there's a machlokas tanoim. Let's say you have bread on the top of a barrel, and the barrel has truma wine. The question is the bread then considered to be truma? And that's a machlokas tanoim. And so the Gemara assumed that the machlokas tanoim is about exactly this issue, whether the smell that the bread is drawing from the wine is that considered to be significant or not. And the Gemara says it's not true. According to Abaya, it could be everybody really does hold that smell is significant. And we had a statement and explanation of that Mishnah as follows, that in a situation where the bread is hot and the barrel is open, so divrei hakol asura, everybody agrees it actually is forbidden, because certainly the smell is going to be imparted to the bread. And again, smell is significant, according to Abaya and according to all of the Tanoim in that Mishnah in Trumos. And bepas tzonenes v'chavis megufa, if we're talking about cold bread and we're talking about a barrel that is sealed, divrei hakol muteres, then everybody agrees that it is permitted because no smell is going to be imparted into the bread. Lo nechliku ela bepas chama v'chavis megufa. The whole machlokas tanoim is only in a situation where the bread is hot and the barrel is sealed, or bepas tzonenes v'chavis psucha, or it could be a case where the bread is cold and the barrel is open, and in those situations it's in between. We're not really sure whether the smell is imparted or not. And if, according to this explanation, v'hadidi nami, in my case as well, meaning in Abaya's case, where he was talking about the fact that smell is considered to be significant, kepas chama v'chaves psucha dami, that was comparable to a case where the bread is hot and the barrel was open. And in such a situation, again, everybody would agree that reicha, that smell, is considered to be significant. And Rashi explains, divrei hakol asura, again, everybody would say it's forbidden in a situation where the bread is hot and the barrel has a hole. Devadai ayil bareicha, certainly the smell will be imparted to the bread. V'hai didi, and in my case, Rashi explains, Hai Bastia, that's the case of the hole in the barrel, where the Jew is smelling from the barrel of Yayin Nesach, and the question over there is that smell considered to be something significant that's a benefit that therefore is prohibited? So that case, to Asarna, where I say that it is prohibited, Kepas Chama v'chavis psucha dami, that's the equivalent of hot bread and an open barrel. Certainly the smell is entering this person's body, so to speak, and therefore it is prohibited. And the Gemara continues at the two dots. The Mishnah said, Zaha klal, this is the rule, Kol shebahana oso, benosein tam v'chulu, anytime the taste that is imparted is beneficial, so then it prohibits, but if the taste that is imparted it detracts, if it's detrimental, so then we say that it is permitted. And the Gemara says, Amar Rav Yehuda, Amar Shmuel, Rav Yehuda says that Shmuel says, Hachi hilchasa, this is the halacha. Again, if it's a beneficial taste, and that taste comes from something which is forbidden, then it will create a prohibition, otherwise it is permitted. And the Gemara continues, V'yamar Rav Yehuda, Amar Shmuel, and Rav Yehuda says that Shmuel says, Lo shanu ela shenafa l'soch gris and roschin. That which we said in our Mishnah, that if you have vinegar that falls into split beans, we said that's detrimental and it doesn't make it prohibited. That's only true if it falls into split beans that are hot, that are boiling. Avol nafal l'soch gris and sonin, but let's say it falls into split beans that are cold, v'hirsichon, and then he heats it up. Nasa kamisha ishbiach ulevasof pagam v'yasser. Then it's like a situation where it was at first beneficial, but then it detracted, and that is forbidden. And the Gemara continues, V'chein ki yasa Ravin, Amar Rava bar bar Chana, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, and likewise when Ravin came, he said that Rava bar bar Chana said that Rabbi Yochanan said, Lo shanu ela shenafa l'soch gris and roschin, this idea that it is no sin tam lefgam and mutter, that again is only when the vinegar falls into split beans which are boiling, Avol nafa l'soch gris and sonin, but if it falls into split beans which are cold, v'yarsichon, and then he heats them up, Na'asa kamisha ishbiach ulevasof pagam v'yasser, again, that's a situation where at first it was beneficial, then it detracted, and therefore it's forbidden. V'chein ki yasser Rav Dimi v'chulu, and similarly when Rav Dimi came, he said the same thing. And the Gemara says, V'kacha yuosin ba'arvei Shabbos b'tzipore, and this is what they would do on Erev Shabbos in Tzipore, v'korin osam shachlayim, and they would call this dish shachlayim, which is cress. And Rashi explains, Hachi hilchasa, this is the halacha, the no sen tam lefgam mutter, that again, if the taste is detrimental, then it is mutter. Chometz pogem gris and roschin, Rashi says that vinegar, it makes gris and roschin, boiling split beans, it actually detracts from the taste. Umashbiach esatzonin, but it improves the taste when it's cold. So if v'hirsichon al ha'or, if he then heats it up on the fire, achar shenafal hachometz l'sochan, after the vinegar fell into them, so again, in that situation, it's hishbiach ulevasof pagam, Hagam, and it is Asr. And Rashi continues, V'chein hayuosin, and this is what they would do on Erev Shabbos, in Sipore, Nosnin Chometz L'soch Hagris, and so on, and they would put the vinegar on the split beans when cold, V'haya Mashbichan, and that would be an improvement for Ravdimi Kamarla, and Ravdimi is making this statement. And the Gemara continues, Amar Reish Lakish says, Nosein Tam Lefgam Sha'amr, when we say that something is Nosein Tam Lefgam and it is mutter, Lo Sheyomru Kedei Rezu Chaseira Melech, it's not that they're saying that this pot is missing salt, or Yaseira Melech, it has extra salt, Chaseira Tavlin, it's missing spices, Yaseira Tavlin, it has extra spices, Elokol She'ein Chaseira Klum, rather anything that's not missing anything, Ve'eno Nachelas Mimnei Zen, it's not eaten because of this, that is the situation of Nosen Tam Lefgam. We'll see Rashi in a moment, but this version of Reish Lakish is a stringency. Ve'ika Di'amrin, there are those that say, and this next version of Reish Lakish will be a leniency. Amar Reish Lakish says, Nosen Tam Lefgam Sha'amr, when they say something is Nosen Tam Lefgam and it's mutter, Ein Omrin, we don't say, Kedei Rezu Chaseira Melech, this pot is missing salt, Yaseira Melech, it has extra salt, Chaseira Tavlin, it's missing spices, Yaseira Tavlin, it has extra spices, Elahashta Mia Hapagma, if right now, nevertheless, it detracts from the taste, it's detrimental, then we say that it is mutter. And Rashi explains, Lo Sheyomru, this is the first version of Reish Lakish, Chumri, this first version of Reish Lakish is a stringency. Kilomar Lo Sheyuchlu Loses Pegam Betavshel Machmas Davar Acher. It's not talking about where the pegam, where the detraction in the taste is coming from something else. Kagon Shatei Chaseira Melech or Yaseira, like there's less salt or more salt. The Imnifka Machmas Davar Acher, the point according to this first version is, if the reason why there's a detraction in the taste is because of something else, so then Ein Tolan HaPekam Beser, we don't assume that the reason why there was a detrimental taste is because of that which was prohibited, v'aser, and therefore we're going to say that in fact it is prohibited. In other words, if something fell in, and you can't say that it was the iser that fell in is what caused the pagam, but maybe the pagam came from somewhere else, so then you're going to say it's forbidden. Ela ezo tam lefgam shemutter, again within the first version, when do we say tam lefgam is mutter? Kol she'ena chaseira shum tikon, anything that's not missing anything, ve'ena nechelas mipnei zeh, and the only reason that it's not going to be eaten is because of this isser that fell in. Kilomar ve'isser zeh pogim time. It means to say that this isser is what caused the tam, is what caused the taste to be worse. Ve'ena nechelas. Now, when it says it's not eaten, lav dafka, we don't literally mean it can't be eaten at all. To kevan to pikimasa porsa, as long as it detracted the taste a little bit, kari la ena nechelas. That's what we call ena nechelas. Ve'ika diamri had Reish Lakish lakula. Now, there are those that have a version of what Reish Lakish said as a leniency. No sen tam lifgam shamru ein omer. Kilomar, according to this version, what it means to say is as follows: Ein tolan hapagam b'davar acher. We don't say that the reason there was a detraction in the taste is because of something else. Lomar chaseirihi melech, to say that it's missing some salt, for example. V'ilu haisa ketikuna, and had it been made properly, lo haya zaho iser pogma, then this iser, this forbidden item, would not have detracted, would not have taken away from the taste. Shaham melech haya mevatel as pegimas tam ho iser mesakno, because the salt would nullify the fact that it took away, that it detracted, that the iser detracted from the taste and would fix it. Ella, rather, no, we say kevan de tam ho iser pogma achshav kemoshehi, since in the state that it's in right now, the taste of the iser makes it worse. Have a pagam, we consider that to be a pagam, umutter, and it's considered nosen tam lefgam, and it is mutter. And the Gemara continues, Amar Rabbi Avo, Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Avo says that Rabbi Yochanan says, Kol shetaimu ma'masha waser, anytime the taste and the substance is prohibited and it falls into a mixture of food, v'lok and olav, and the person gets malchus for that, v'zeu kezayis b'chdei achilas pras. And here we follow a kezayis during the amount of time that it takes to eat, the amount of a half a loaf. And Rashi explains, Kol shetaimu ma'masha lok and olav, v'zeu kezayis b'chdei achilas pras. What the Gemara means to say is as follows: V'al kagon zen nemar shir kezayis b'chdei achilas pras. It's in this situation where we say that we follow the measurement of a kezayis b'chdei achilas pras, as Rashi will explain. And this is a halacha l'Moshe Misinai. The idea of a kezayis b'chdei achilas pras is a halacha l'Moshe Misinai. And Rashi explains, Shem yesh b'kashir pras shel tavshil. If you have in the amount of a half a loaf of whatever this cooked item was, kezayis mino isra, let's say it falls into there one kazayas of the prohibited item. So in other words, this essentially is a proportion. It's a ratio. This is the amount the kazayas fell in, or an amount of kazayas fell into every amount of pras of this tavshil. So then loken olav. So then you're going to get malchus essentially for eating that kazayas. Afal pishain kazayas shall iser nechol bebasachas. And the point is, even though the person is not consuming a kazayas of the prohibited food in one shot, because it's spread throughout the tavshil, kevon de'eno shoa b'achilaso, but since there's not much of a delay in eating the kazayas, mishehizchil la'ochla, from when he begins to eat it, ad shegamru, until he finishes, so he's able to consume a kazayas of the isser in this short amount of time, kedei achilas pras, ela kedei achilas pras, just the amount of time that it takes to eat a half a loaf, mitzdarefas achilaso veloka, so everything that he ate of the isser combines, it's considered eating a kazayas of the isser, and he gets malchus. But let's say when you're eating through the tavshil, if you eat a half a loaf of an amount, you're not going to have a kazayas. You have to eat more of the tavshil to accumulate a kazayas. You're not going to have that much isser. Hoel v'shoa b'achilaso kazayas, since it takes some amount of time to eat a kazayas, yoser michdei achilas pras, more than the amount of time to eat the pras, to eat the half a loaf. Havalu kishtei achilos shel shnei yamim, it would be like eating twice, let's say on 2 separate days. Ve'ein loken, and there'd be no malchus. The kimlu l'rabbanon, because the rabbanon accept the achilas pras have a shir shehiyas achila, that eating a pras, a half a loaf, that is the measurement that we use in terms of the delay of eating. And Rashi goes on to say exactly what the measurement of a pras is, and we will continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Samech Zayin Amud Beis.